going to be talking about area, and so this is the title, What's My Area? When we're talking about areas, we see here we have length times the width, and that's why it's so important when we were learning multiplication, because now we're going to apply that multiplication in order to do area. So our formula for length, we would say L. L stands for length. Then we're going to multiply length times W, which stands for the width, to get the total of the unit. When we look at this, we can automatically say that we have square units inside. So one way we could do this, if we see the square units inside, is to count the units. So I'm going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That already tells me how many square units that I would have. But sometimes when we're doing area, the square units are not inside, and that's why we've got to measure and be able to multiply. So in order to do that, my length would always be my longest part. So I count the square units in length. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my first factor that I would begin with. Then I'm going to count the width. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would multiply the length times the width, which would equal the product, which would give me 20. Now, just a few minutes ago, when I was counting the square units inside, I got the total of 20. And that matches to my number sentence that tells me the length times the width is 5 times 4, which equals 20. Now, if I did not have the square units inside, I would have a measurement that would say, this is the length, and if we're doing inches, it would give us a little symbol for inches. And this was the width, it would give us a little symbol for inches. And we would know that we would have to multiply 4 times 5, so it's like an imaginary multiplication sign there in the corner, that would also give us 20. So if I go to another problem, and this time I want to multiply the length times the width to find out what the missing product would be. Again, I would count my length, which is my longest part. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives me my length. Then I would count the width. That would not be my length. That would be my width, because the length has to be longer than the width. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my length would equal 7. And then if I multiply those two together, the length was 7 and the width was 4. The area would be 28. Now I want to just double check on this one again. I have the square units inside. So if I count each square unit and I come up with 28, then I know that 28 was the area. Another way to represent square units is sometimes we'll see a U and a 2, kind of like YouTube. As we watch sometimes on TV, we hear YouTube. We can click on and find different things. But this is U2. That means unit squared. So whenever we see that symbol, that's what that means, that I multiplied the length times the width that gave me the product, which was the area of 28 units squared.